How many people believe guns are bad? Okay, Arnold. How many people believe politicians lie to us? That's everybody. More people believe politicians lie than guns are bad. That's interesting. My presentation is basically about guns. More guns actually equals less crime. Now, judging by the quick survey we did, I can see that people might not believe this, but try and bear with me. I'm going to try and walk you through it. Statistics prove. Let me say it again. Statistics prove personal ownership and use of guns reduces crime and saves lives. Okay? Reduces crime and saves lives. Quick overview of what we're going to cover. 4 topics. I'm only going to touch on 2 because of time. History of guns, common myths about guns, truth about guns, and how guns relate to freedom. Get into some of our common myths that you may have heard. Myth number 1, 130 gun deaths in the U.S. for every 1 in self-defense. The real fact of the matter is more than 2 out of 3 gun deaths are either suicides or drug-related murder. Myth number 2, very common and very much used by politicians to tug on the heartstrings. 12 children are killed with guns each day. The fact of the matter is half of the people that politicians are counting as children were adults. They were counting anyone who was below 21 as opposed to below 18. Another very interesting fact is the age distribution of child gun deaths tracks the age distribution of child drug dealers. What politicians don't tell you is a lot of these quote-unquote children are gun-toting gangbangers who are either killing each other or shooting at cops and getting killed by cops or encountering citizens who defend themselves and get killed. Myth number 3, guns are 43 times more likely to kill a family member than an intruder. This is probably one of the most common myths that politicians like to tote. And I want to drill into that number. Take a look at that number. 43. Breaks out like this. 1.3 of them are accidents. Criminal homicides make up 4.6. An overwhelming majority are suicides. 37 of them are suicides. Now, if you take guns away from people, do you really honestly believe those 37 people wouldn't have killed themselves, wouldn't have locked themselves in their garage, turned the car on, drowned themselves, taken pills? Any number of methods to kill themselves other than guns. So if we take away suicides, now the ratio goes down to 6 to 1. So for every 6 deaths, there's 1 in self-defense. But again, that is not a 100% accurate way to look at it. The problem with that statistic now is in an overwhelming majority of the times a gun is used in self-defense, it's never fired. It's just shown. The mere fact of a citizen having a gun and showing it makes a criminal flee. If you take all of those instances into account, now the ratio is tremendously different. For every 1 family member or friend who is killed, 40 to 125 people are saved by guns. Now, that's some of the common myths. Let's just dive into some of the truth that you may have never been presented with. Here's someone you might know from history. The most foolish mistake we could possibly make would be to allow the subject races to possess arms. History shows that all conquerors who have allowed their subject races to carry arms have prepared their own downfall by doing so. I think we all know who this is, Adolf Hitler. Here are some of the facts that you may not know. Millions of Americans are law-abiding gun owners. 2.5 million Americans use guns in self-defense of themselves and their families every year. 98% of those defensive uses, as I said, the gun is never even fired. And of all the states, all 36 states that now allow their citizens to carry concealed weapons, every time they've implemented that law, they have noticed a significant decrease in violent crime across the board. So, in conclusion, what I'd like to have you take away from this, regardless of your prior feelings, is that guns statistically save lives. Now, just a quick show of hands, how many people believe politicians have lied to us about guns? Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause.